Dairy farming is one of the agricultural sectors in Kenya with a huge potential. And that's why in this specific episode of Farming Today, we look at key aspects of dairy farming, which include breeding, feeding, as well as milk production. We'll also be looking at the market of dairy products. How can we transform the dairy sector by tapping into the power of cooperatives? That's coming through in this show. But first, let's have an overview of the dairy sector in the country. According to the Livestock Research for Rural Development carried out in 2017, the estimated cattle population stands at 4.3 million, with an estimated production of 3.43 billion litres of milk daily. Data from the Agri-Farming Corporation shows that dairy farming is the biggest agricultural subsector in Kenya, contributing to about 14% of gross domestic product in agricultural sector, and incorporates over 1.8 million smallholder farmers' households. Dairy farming in Kenya is a lucrative business venture owing to the fact that there is a high demand for dairy products as well as Kenyans' undying love for tea. But most importantly, milk cooperatives in Kenya are in constant need of supply of raw milk for processing from the farmers. Dairy farmers have been struggling with fluctuating milk prices. In 2021, the government, through the Kenya Dairy Board, introduced a minimum price of 33 shillings a litre, payable to the farmers on milk delivered to processors. But with the high cost of animal feeds, the question that begs is, how profitable is the dairy sector? Is the money in milk production or milk trading? While many Kenyans struggle to make it through the current economic downturn, occasioned by various factors including the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, one dairy farmer from Kabianga village, Kericho County, is earning good cash from her dairy farming venture.
So if you produce 200 liters a day and it is 45 shillings, then you can see per day we get around 9,000 shillings. By the end of the month, it is something that is able to sustain you. And also, when you're able to produce your own feeds, at least you save on cost. When you save on cost of the feeds, you remain with more.
Well, the question that everyone would expect to follow is, how much does Carol spend on her dairy farming in a month? That's coming up, but let's see what she has first. Welcome to Max Farm.
This farm began 8 years ago, though it began as keeping the cows for family use. We began with one cow which was donated to us, but it has grown to become this farm that it has become, with 27 herd and 15 adults and 12 favors at different stages of growth. We keep Frisians mostly because Frisians at least are able to eat a lot and be able to also give you a lot of milk. We feed them immediately after milking, and we milk them 3 times. In the morning, 5 a.m., 1 p.m., and in the evening at 7 p.m. After feeding, we give them food, and that food involves napier grass. We have hay, and then we have the silage. After we give them the food, we now put dairy meal on their food and also the mineral salt. So for the dairy meal, we give them 4 kg per feeding. That is in the morning, lunchtime, and in the evening. As the herd has been growing, also the milk yields have also been improving because we have been gaining experience on how to do proper feeding. We began with 6 liters from that one cow, and at the moment we are doing 200 liters per day. Now, when we started that one cow, which we were milking 6 liters, We used to give them just pure napier grass without anything else, and we were giving them a full sack per every meal. But we were still milking 6 liters. So there has supposed to be proper combination of the food that you give the forage so that you can be able to get good yield. When we started introducing the dry matter, the cow was able to take a lot of water. So the silage, the hay, contributed a lot to the increased production. And we realized that when you have that dry matter being more, that fiber content and the dry matter being high in the food, the cow is able to take a lot of water, because almost 80% of the milk, there is water there. So the cow should be able to take some dry matter in the food. It should not just be the green matter. We've been sampling the dairy mills because of the cost. The challenge we have in our farm is the cost of the dairy mill and the mineral salt. That is the huge challenge that we have. Market used to be a challenge before. We used to give milk to the hawkers at around 30 shillings, 35 shillings, which was a challenge to us. We were not able to meet the cost of production, and even if you do, nothing remains for you as a farmer. Then the farmers decided that we need to do something so that we can be able to get some profit. So we formed a cooperative. There was a cooperative society which was there a long time ago, but after some time it had gone down and it was no longer receiving the milk. So we revived it as farmers. We came together and we revived that cooperative society, and we gave our milk there. So when we began, they took our milk was around 39 to 40 shillings, which to us was okay because we were guaranteed of the market. So we were just producing and taking to our cooperative society. That is Kabianga Farmers Cooperative Society. And of late, the cooperative society has grown, and at least they are paying us around 43 shillings and 50 cents for the milk and 2 shillings for the transport. That's around 45 shillings and 50 cents, which to us we are able to meet the cost of production, and at least we are able to remain with some savings as a farmer.
Remember the question of expenditure? Let's put a cost to Carol's monthly input in Max Farm. From Carol's records, feeding takes the largest chunk of expenditure, with dairy meal taking about 71,000 every month. Forage takes 30,000, mineral salt 12,000, and labor 14,000, bringing the total monthly expenditure to an estimated figure of 127,000 Kenya shillings. From the farm to where the rubber meets the road, market. Pricing of milk has been a challenge to many farmers across the country. But for Max Farm and Kabianga dairy farmers, the story is different.
The cooperative society started with a membership of around 60 members. As we talk now, we have over 6,000 members that supply milk to this cooperative society. Those who are very active, the number is 2,300, but the entire membership is 6,500. As we talk at the moment, this cooperative society receives 15,000 liters per day. Cumulatively, for the every month, we are doing 450,000 liters, the milk that we deliver to KCC. The prices are quite okay. I want to say it is well for the farmers. Currently, we pay our farmers 43 shillings and 50 cents. That is the net that goes to our farmers. And we can say it has made them to move. At least they are comfortable compared to the past, where they used to be paid 20 shillings, 30 shillings, 32 shillings. Most of the farmers have confidence in us. In fact, I want to say the milk production in the entire country is on the upward trajectory. Very many farmers are getting into this field. We are happy at the moment that most of them are coming back to us because we pay them on time, and the prices at the moment are quite encouraging. I can say generally the management of our cooperative society at the moment is at the peak, and that is why the members are coming back.
It has been a long journey of trying to transform the dairy sector in this area, but there are still shortcomings that demand urgent intervention.
Kabianga Farmers Cooperative Society are working hard to make sure that we reduce the challenges they face in terms of cost of production. We increase capacity building to make sure that the milk rejection rate is low. We're also working very hard as Kabianga FCS to ensure that their records are well kept, mainly by improving our system, so that once the milk is weighed here at the cooperative society, the farmer is able to access or get a message from the cooperative society of how much milk they have weighed on a daily basis.
While dairy farming has proven its strong potential in uplifting the depressing economic status of both the farmer and the country's economy at large, most of its potential still remains untapped, following the series of challenges tied to this class of agricultural production. So, how can some of these challenges and setbacks be milked out? Let's talk to our experts.
Express.
Docteur Clément Gondé.
Every Saturday from 1:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. A perfect family is not always what it seems.
Hapa hakuna mtu anaweza kunificha kitu.
When a father's past is revealed after his death, leaving his empire in the hands of his wife, son, daughter, and
I'm here to mourn my husband.
His other wife.
Ambazula. Usijaribu. Uniwezi mimi.
Who will get the castle?
You have rattled the snake.
The war of succession is on. Inca Siri starts October 9. Only on Maisha Magic Plus channel 163 on DSTV, GoTV channel 3. On the next episode of The Realtor.
Anytime you hear of affordable housing, what comes in the mind of many people is that I can be able to manage one, or I can acquire a property somewhere. Now, there's one model that has been in the Kenyan market, goes by the name Offplan model.
Offplan model means that you start selling your houses before you construct them.
This model has been faced with a lot of challenges.
So as a buyer, if you find that I'm doing like 4 or 5 projects, then you need to check at a time. You need to check my capacity. Do I have a track record of delivering several projects at a time?
Now, this is what we shall be discussing on this coming Tuesday at 6:30 p.m.
Our expert on matters dairy farming is Patrick Kimani, the CEO of Kenya Livestock Producers Association. Patrick Kimani is an agricultural specialist. He holds a bachelor's degree in agribusiness management from Egerton University and a master's in marketing from the Kenyatta University. He sits in various national and regional bodies and task forces, including Pan-African Farmers Organization, Eastern African Farmers Federation, COMESA, IGAD, EAC, and KEPSA's Agriculture Sector Board. Patrick Kimani is also the Secretary General of Northeastern Africa Livestock Council with a membership in 13 African countries. We start our conversation by looking at the potential of dairy farming in the country and by extension, the region.
The potential is big. Because now we have the capacity to engage the EAC, IGAD and COMESA region. The market is so huge for the Kenyan farmer. regionally and also more so locally also. The demand for milk and milk products in Kenya is very huge. So I think the issue here is to engage the farmer to lower the cost of production from the initial cost of even having your heifer. What is the cost of buying the cow, for example? The cost of producing, taking care of the cow and producing the milk, so that now you're able to minimize the cost of production vis-a-vis requesting for an increase in the milk prices, because it is a liberalized economy where it is a buyer, seller meeting together. So it's market forces which are at play. Vis-a-vis also, we are in a global market, so we can't be buying our milk. The local buyers of milk can't be able to buy very expensive milk locally, yet they can import from within our member states. So those are the issues we need to trigger in collaboration with all the partners, national government, county government, because agriculture is devolved, and also the other stakeholders in the ecosystem of agriculture, the NGO world, so that we are able to assist the farmer to maximize on their value chain intervention, and they get more money into their pocket.
More money for the farmers sounds like the way to go, but just what will it take?
A farmer needs several things. One is the voice. Two is access to inputs so that they are able to produce, and access to inputs which are affordable, and inputs which are affordable and also original, if I may use that name, because there are so many counterfeits. Then they also need training, continuous training on extension services. Then after production, extension is harvest, which comes also with the post-harvest challenges. Then after that is market access, or where do you market your produce, whether it is crops or livestock. We all go to the market. So basically, also, and then now, which also cascades now to policy interventions, so that you can streamline the whole value chains within the agricultural ecosystem.
On to making dairy farming a profitable venture. Our expert is keen on record keeping.
Most of the SME businesses, they don't do a P&L analysis. And if a farmer, for that matter, is not able to know whether they are making profit or losses, they will never realize where to cut costs on. So that is a very critical training we engage our membership on. Because you find, I'm in the dairy sector, but I also receive remittances from my children, for example, whether they are abroad or locally. I just pump it to my dairy sector. Or I see some proceeds from coffee, tea, or any other value chain which I'm involved, or piggery or poultry. Because money comes in, I'm operating with a cash flow, but I don't know whether I'm making a profit or not. So you need to dissect the various interventions or value chains you have in the farm, so that if, for example, it's dairy, if I have 4 cows and I'm producing 50 liters per day, and I take it to my local cooperative at 40 shillings per liter, what is the cost in terms of feeds, the farm worker, electricity, logistics, everything, and then what is my profit margin? What do I need to cut on, for example? Is it buying animal feeds from the agrovet, from the local producers, or it's also supplementing it also with my animal feeds or whatever I'm able to gather within my farm or within the village. And how do I preserve so that I'm able to continue using that animal feed for some time.
Profitability of dairy farming in Kenya is affected by the high cost of milk production and frequent fluctuations in milk prices, a situation that our experts say requires an in-depth understanding considering the dynamics involved.
This is a liberalized economy. Us as farmers would like even to sell at 70 per litre at farm gate. But that is not the reality. What is the real cost of producing 1 litre of milk across the country? Because the country is huge. Maybe the cost of producing 1 milk in Kiambu County is not the same with Meru or Vihiga. Then what are the dynamics? Like I said earlier, the issue is not increasing the cost of farm gate price. It is drawing the cost of production. Because we are not operating in isolation. Maybe the cost of producing the same 1 litre in Uganda, which is our neighbor and a member of East African community, may be 25 bob, Kenya shillings, yet US is 40. So me as a buyer of milk, as an aggregator, will I buy for the Kenyan farmer or from the Ugandan farmer? The same applies even to other products like maize and eggs and everything else, because this now is a global market. So the government, and now with the new government, which is really serious about agriculture, those are the interventions now, and we are grateful because the current new regime is listening to experts. We are able now to implement recommendations which have always been gathering dust for some years, that these are proven models, working models within the African context, within the European market or within the other markets, and the best practices we can implement to assist our farmer to lower the cost of production, vis-a-vis whether we need to increase. But increasing the price is counterproductive. Also having subsidies also is long-term counterproductive. So the cost is, we need to have a long-term plan on how we can lower the cost of production, not only for dairy, but for the whole agricultural ecosystem. We have a very huge market, and which our regional, or which our farmers need to produce to. The market for milk and milk products is going to grow exponentially now and in the near future. I think what we need to do as we lower the cost of production, we also need to engage our members and the whole general dairy industry on value addition, because that's where the future is. As we always say, the future is in food and water. Milk is food, and a quality, affordable food. As we lower the cost so that we are able to market within the EAC and Comesa region, we need to be cognizant of the fact that the market is huge.
With that conversation, we cannot but conclude that the future is bright for the dairy sector farmers, and the game changer